Well, greetings, Boise State fans. Welcome on in. Happy Monday. Bronco Nation News live here at BroncoNationNews.com. It's Mondays with Mallory, so we're broadcasting live today on the social media channels of both Bronco Nation News and KTIK 95.3 FM, The Ticket. It's Facebook, that's Twitter, that's YouTube. Make sure you go follow our YouTube page. And John Mallory, you're in the RowPaint.com studios there in downtown Boise, man. Happy Monday to you. How are you, man?
Man, I'm doing great, BJ. There's just so much going on in the Boise sports scene right now. I don't even know where to begin. Kidding aside, we're having fun, obviously, on this Monday, kind of in a transition period for the sports fan in Boise, right? And we start this thing off another week. Love it, man. Ready to go.
Yeah, we'll take another week kind of as just a programming note and kind of wrap up the spring game this week. We'll get your comments today. We'll hear from Steph Cobbs. We'll hear from JL Skinner. We'll get Jay Tuss comments, Mike Prater later this week, kind of reviewing the spring game. And then we'll kind of put, spring football to bed for at least a couple weeks. And we'll go back to basketball for a few weeks. Next Monday, we'll start a little 2-week series kind of reviewing last year from each player on the basketball team moving forward. Then we'll get into players to watch in football, questions, key position battles. We got all kinds of stuff. We'll have daily Boise State content for you every single day here at 9 a.m. moving forward. So even though it's the summer, we'll still have you covered with stuff moving forward. So, Johnny, appreciate it, man. Let's start with that spring game on Saturday. We were there in the press box at Albertson Stadium, the Paul J. Schneider press box, and what were your thoughts, just your initial takeaways? I know we're probably going to spend a lot of time talking about Hank Bachmeier, and there were all kinds of comments and post-game calls on you and Prater's post-game show and on KBOI, and we had some as well. But for fans watching this now, I guess get your comments in, your questions in. What do you think of the spring game? What were your takeaways? You concerned at all? You feeling good? And, Johnny, I'll just throw that to you. Where are you at generally first from Saturday's spring game?
I guess I'll just start with the spring game for those folks who were there at Albertson Stadium, too. I wish it would have been a little more exciting just because I wanted to watch football that day. And I get it. Spring games aren't there to be exciting in most cases. They're there, kind of work out a lot of the issues for a spring ball, kind of put a bow on spring practice, let the fans come out and see the kids full, and in many cases, live football. And I wish there would have been more shots taken, more deep plays, maybe to some of these receivers, a few more splash plays. And maybe they were there and the quarterback or whatever the situation was, whether it's a miscommunication here that they weren't able to convert on some of those plays. And I also understand coaches will always say, in spring games, we don't want to give anybody an idea of what we're doing. But okay, well, you can throw deep. You can, you can run a traditional flea flicker here or there, and I don't think anybody's going to know. They think they've stolen the recipe to Coca-Cola or something, right? I wish it would have been a little more exciting, easier on the eyes for the fans. That said, that out of the way, I think there's a lot of questions going into this season with this football team, BJ, and we'll see if they get answered. And if they don't, then there's going to be a lot of disappointment. And I think it starts with the offense. Obviously, the 3 and outs. I know fans didn't want to see that. It seemed like there were a few more 3 and outs than you'd like, especially from an offense with a veteran quarterback there. Kalani didn't play much, so you had some new running backs in there. But, the defense rules the roost with this football team, and the offense struggled, I felt, to move the ball, to have any type of consistency. Like I kept sitting up there in the press box saying, okay, Hank, let's go. There's a big drive for you. Come on. Because Hank played, I think, more than most of us.
And he actually did. He actually did, by the way. Like he'd say, I don't say you were cheering, but you were saying, okay, Hank, like let's see something from you this drive.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's see something. You were sitting right next to me, and we both said it. There were multiple drives where we're like, okay, time to offense, put a drive together here. Let's see something. And we didn't see
a 10-play drive here. Hank, let's see you operate under this offense that, it's year 2. You don't have a new OC this year for the first time in your career, Hank. Things are supposed to run a little more smoothly. And to me, it seemed like they weren't running all that smoothly for that game. Credit the defense, I guess. But my biggest question marks or storylines here, BJ, who's going to win QB2? I think that's going to be an interesting battle over the summer with Vidlek and Green. What's going to happen with the offensive line? Is that can that become the strength of this offense, the O-line? And I think playmakers on offense. I don't know if there's a lack of playmakers on offense, but guys like Cobbs, I thought played well, had a couple of catches. We keep hearing about Bolt and everybody in between who are going to be the true playmakers on this offense. Catch the ball, make guys miss, turn 7-yard catches into 22-yard gains. That for offense, for me, there's a lot of questions there. And spring game doesn't tell you a whole lot, though, does it?
No, Carter Davis chiming in. Defense looks solid. I think the vanilla play calling and the weather made it hard for the offense to shine like the fans may have wanted. Derek Morales saying spring games are always intentionally vanilla on offense, but was excited to see Ginty at work. There were a couple nice runs there from Ashton Ginty, right?
He scored the touchdown. I thought that was a good short yardage teeter. And then, yeah, there was a play, I think, to the right side.
I've got footage of that. I'll pull it up here.
A guy miss. Yeah, that was a good play, too. So I think fans should be, I don't know, I think they should be pretty happy with what they saw from Ashton Ginty. Everybody keeps telling us here's a true freshman that's going to come right in and play, and he's probably going to be your running back number 2. And as you know, I mean, heck, Cyrus Abibi-Likio as the RB2 on this team last year, BJ, had, what, about 600 yards from scrimmage. That's the role for your second running back. You need to be a 500 to 800 yards from scrimmage type of guy. This team, this offense needs those yards. So I think Ginty checked a few boxes for the fans.
Bachmeier, 12 of 23 with an interception. We'll talk about him. He did have a touchdown as well. Vidlak was 3 for 10. Taylon Green was 1 for 4. Neither one of those guys got a ton. This was a sack here by Braxton Feely. The defense had 3 sacks. The defense had 3 interceptions. But this was the drive where Bachmeier started to get it going here in the second quarter. A nice completion down the middle there to Davis Cutter. There was a pass, I believe, coming up here to Austin Bolt as well. Austin Bolt had 2 catches in this game, but looked a little more involved. Oh, there's Ginty pushing forward. He had another run that we'll see where he goes outside Johnny and got some yards. I believe this was the pass down the field, maybe to Cobbs here. But there was one drive here where he started to get it going. And no, that's Bolt, and then Cobbs is the next play. So there's Bolt, getting a 12-yard gain. Johnny, he was out there. He had a couple catches and was more involved, I think, than we've seen him in the past. And this play right here was a nice play down the seam to the left to Steph Cobbs. Nice ball here, Johnny.
Yeah, it's just too few and far between, I think.
But here comes the pick. Here comes the pick, though, and then we can get into Bachmeier, really. But here's Bachmeier. Misreads this here. The ball gets tipped by Brandon Hawkins. Picked off by JL Skinner. And as you'll hear JL say in a minute, man, the interception dance right here is in midseason form, man. Look, he's got the what do the kids call that dance?
BJ, I couldn't tell you.
Okay. We'll finish the highlights and then we'll come back to this. But here's the touchdown from Ashton Ginty, 2 yards there. Nice push by the O-line, opening up the hole for him. They were without 2 starters along the offensive line in this game. Now here's Taylon Green getting a chance. And it's so hard, Johnny, because they don't tackle the quarterbacks in this game, right? So here's a play where Green scrambles, probably scores a touchdown on this play running with his legs if it's not ruled down up here. I mean, he's moving right here and they can't hit him. I thought Green showed some things with his legs, didn't show a ton with his arm in this game. And as one of the commenters said, there was about a 20-mile-an-hour wind. This was a scary play where Austin Bolt caught the ball and then slammed into the sideline there, but he was okay and got up all right. But here's another drive here. Green, Taylon Green, I think this is when he got picked off, right? Oladipo. Yeah, there's 23. Oladipo with a nice pick there, and we had talked to him. I know he's one of the guys looking for that nickel spot. Nice interception for him. And but let's go back to Bachmeier. You had the interception here, which we can show again. What was your take? Again, 12 of 23. You can't make this throw in the red zone, though.
No, the linebacker's right there, and Tim Plow's going to tell him that, and Hank should probably know that. I mean, the linebacker was right there. That's a throw that he's probably not being encouraged to make, okay? I mean, Brett Favre has a laser.
Maybe I will say this. Look at this. Look at this.
Squeeze that in.
Come on, look at there's the. I mean, look, Cutter's open, right? If he throws it faster.
Oh, Cutter on the left there.
No, who's he throwing? No, is it Raftal or who is it? I can't tell the number.
The tight end there. Sure, if you can get that in there
on the 5-yard line, yeah.
Sure, throw the ball a little earlier in timing, but I think in most cases the linebacker's playing center field right there. He wants you to throw that ball, and look, anyway, that's a throw Hank's going to want back, no question. He knows that, and that's just another throw. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, going into year 4. I would have liked to see more out of a veteran quarterback. I guess you said, 12 for 23, one touchdown, one interception, 100 and something yards.
105 yards. And
kind of a Hank game, isn't it?
Are we really doing this, though? Are we making large assumptions about Hank Bachmeier being who he is, not improving, all this stuff based on, a couple throws in a spring game with wind and I don't know.
That's probably unfair. Sure.
I mean, a lot of fans were doing that. I get it. You didn't have Helani. I mean, George Helani didn't play in this game for just one to keep him healthy. I guess he returned one punt, but you didn't have Caples and Bowens, two of your top four receivers that you're counting on. You didn't have two of your all conference linemen, John Ojukwu, and Ben Dooley. You didn't have Riley Smith, your top tight end. So you're without, literally 4 or 5 key offensive pieces. Plus, you're playing in windy conditions, and like you said, there was a pretty vanilla playbook. So, I don't know. I'm not saying Hank Bachmeier is going to win the Heisman next year. I don't know if I'm ready to, we already had folks saying, someone said, "Oh, does Avalos have the stones to start Talon this year?" I mean, I don't know if we're there yet.
One of those guys have won the job. Hank's the best quarterback in that room.
One spring game performance. One spring game, is not going to change my opinion on Hank Bachmeier. But, I mean, you do bring up a point, Johnny. I mean, just in general about Hank Bachmeier. I mean, just going into year 4 as a starter and needing him to take that step forward. We've heard a lot about how much more comfortable he is in Tim Plow's offense and year number 2 there. And sure, would you have liked to see him gone 17 for 18 for 3 teeters, as you say? I mean, yeah, you would have loved to have seen that, but we didn't. But, where are you big picture on Hank Bachmeier? I think he told me in the press box or maybe afterwards, he is who he is at this point. Who is Hank Bachmeier?
No, I do think he can get better. I mean, in college, you got to get better every year, and last year he was better than the previous 2 years. He was statistically. And I love his leadership and I love him as a kid and as a person with this program. He does a terrific job in checking all those boxes. It's just, I would think for this team to win 10, 11, 12 games in the regular season, I think Hank needs to play at a first team all Mountain West caliber level at quarterback. I think if this team's going to win 10 plus games, I think Hank Bachmeier needs to be in the conversation for, hey, who's the best quarterback in the Mountain West this year? Where's Hank rank on that list? And I don't think he was last year with Carson Strong, with Jake Haener, just to name a couple of guys who were on those teams. I think that needs to be Hank this year. And you know what? It probably will be, I guess. It should be. He's year 4. He's the senior signal caller in this conference now, with the being a fourth year starter. And you're right. He had a lot of issues on Saturday that would take away from the opportunity to go out there and light up the blue. You're right. Bowens and Caples not playing, I think, is a big factor. Those are 2 key receivers, or at least they need to be key receivers in this offense. Helani, it's like, okay, we don't even expect Helani to play much anymore, do we? Like, we knew he wasn't going to play much in the spring game because the preservation element of George Helani, I think, is right there front and center. They need him, certainly with the depth that backfield doesn't have. So we didn't see much Helani. But, I mean, are you counting on Helani to play every game next year? I hope so. I think Hank is hoping so. I think you need that. If this comes down to a thing where, okay, sorry, Hank, we need you to bail everybody out. Okay, we see that in football a lot. We're down a couple of linemen. We're down a couple of receivers. Running backs banged up. Our pets' heads are falling off. BJ, Hank, you just got to take care of it and win us the game because you're the best player on the team. I haven't seen that yet. We'll see if we see that next year, if they need it next year. I thought they needed it in certain situations last year, and you didn't get it, and you end up 7-5 at the end of the year. It's tough, man. Hank's going to be under a lot of scrutiny from the fan base and the media in this town. It's going to be an interesting season for him, no question. And it's just he's got to play at an all-conference caliber level, and we'll see if he can.
Want to hear from Steph Cobbs in a second. I also want to get your take on QB2, which you mentioned. But first, transportation compliance service. If you're looking to get into the trucking industry, 1,000 people a day are switching. It's a booming industry. If you're looking for a fresh start, a new career change, it's got great benefits, great pay, but you can't do it yourself. TCS will help you get all the permits filled out, all the things you need, the DOT permits, the overweight permits. If you try to do it yourself, it's too hard. You're not going to be able to get it done. Just let TCS take care of you, and they'll get you set up every step of the way. You can check them out, transcom.com. workerscompservice.com, and they'll get you out there towing that first load in no time. United Commercial Insurance as well. If you own a business, and there's a lot of business owners that listen to us, hey, you may think you have good business insurance. UCI can get you a better rate. Check them out, unitedcommercialinsurance.com. The best in business insurance, all kinds of, whether it be like workers' comp or liability, all kinds of stuff. UCI can take care of you. They can write policies in 44 states around the country. So check them out, unitedcommercialinsurance.com. And don't forget Boise Dentistry Co. as well. 21st, Johnny, I got my checkup, my next cleaning on the 21st at Boise Dentistry Co. with Dr. Chris Minert. Those are my kids on the screen there. Our family has made the switch to Dr. Minert, and hopefully you will as well. Boise Dentistry Co., family dentistry and wellness. You can check them out, get more information, boisedentistryco.com. Let's hear from Steph Cobbs. Johnny, briefly, it was real windy. It was cold, so the audio is not crystal clear, but here's a short bit of Steph Cobbs, the wide receiver for Boise State. And again, he had 6 catches, 61 yards, Johnny. 6 for 61 and a touchdown. Had that 25-yard catch as well. So he's emerging as that top receiver and had the best day of the receivers, which was good to see. Here's Steph Cobbs after the spring game.
Steph, there's been so much talk about you stepping into the spotlight as the number 1 receiver. You lead the team in receiving yards today. You get that first touchdown of the season. How'd that feel?
It's just good. It feels good just being out here to come out here and be able to work with my family, man, my brothers. That's a great defense we go against. So I just, try to compete every day and try to give them a good look every single time I go on the field with them.
Overall, what did you think of the offensive performance today?
We can always work on some stuff, but we had a good spring as a whole. We can always come back and continue to get better when we come back for summer and just continue to grind.
Who's given you the most trouble on the defense this spring?
They all working, man. It's all you got bigs and LaBeouf on the outside. They're gonna give you the best work, and then the 2 safeties, y'all already know. Those are the best safeties I believe we faced in a while. So the whole DB unit just give us good work the whole spring.
Can you kind of give a rundown of what you saw this spring from Hank, Talon, and Sam?
Growth, a lot of growth. I've seen Sam. He's new, but Sam has a lot of talent, a great arm. And Talon and Hank both just growing, getting more mature, stepping into that leader role and helping lead this offense.
What you see from Ashton Genty this spring? You think he can come in and help you guys right away?
Oh, facts. He's from Texas, so you already know what that is. But he's an explosive runner. He's good breaking tackles and making dudes miss. And he got him one today. So yeah.
Steph, out of your group, outside yourself, who's impressed you this spring?
All of them. DK stepped up. He's been making great plays. Billy got hurt, but before he got hurt, he came in. He did real good, making plays. So everybody's just been coming in, making plays. The young guys starting to step up, getting into this offense and starting to learn the role in the offense too.
What's kind of the mindset of this team now? You got one more practice, I know Monday, but then you go into summer camp, for the next couple of months. What's the mindset before, the motivation as you guys get ready for fall camp in August?
Matter of fact, Avery just talked to us. He talked about being grateful for what we have coming up. So spring is over now, but we continue to work, and the summer gonna continue to work, and that's just knowing what the season has a hold for us. That's our motivation, just knowing the possibilities we have. We continue to work, continue to get better each and every day.
Well, there he is, Steph Cobbs, talking to the media after the spring game, and he was asked about the quarterbacks there, and I think he looks like he's ready, Johnny, to be that number 1 guy. I don't think there's any concern with Steph Cobbs. He's certainly going to need some guys behind him to step up a little bit. We mentioned Caples and Bowens being out, but QB too. You mentioned that. You said that's one of the biggest battles going into the summer, into the fall camp. And let's be honest, you mentioned about George Helani being available every game. Hank Bachmeier being available to start every game, I don't think it's a guarantee given his injury past, given his, tough. He's very tough, but he takes a lot of big hits. And obviously had the knee injury last year and tried to play through it. But I just think if there was an over-under on, 11 and a half regular season starts for Hank Bachmeier, I think you'd probably take the under, right? You probably think Hank Bachmeier misses a game this year. So Sam Vidlak got the first 2 series with the number 2s. I think we all thought this was going to be Talon Green coming in as the number 2, and they obviously want to keep him happy so he doesn't transfer, and that's a whole side story to this, Johnny. But where are you with QB2 at this point? And that's obviously going to be a big battle and a big decision that, like I said, has more implications than just this season.
As down as, folks were on Hank's performance, 12 of 23 in this thing, that looks like Aaron Rodgers compared to the backups, right? I mean, the backup quarterbacks were not able to move the football against even the second-team defense.
4 for 13 for 21 yards.
Collectively, 4 for 13 for 21 yards, you said? Yeah, that puts Hank in the College Football Hall of Fame compared to these guys. So there's a lot of work, and it's an experience. Taylor Green just saw a tiny bit of action last year, as did Sam Vidlak at Oregon State. He didn't play much. I think the only game maybe he got in was against my Vandals. Love you guys though. But that's going to be a big battle. And you're right. That kid, whoever wins it, QB2, you're probably going to have to play sometimes based on Hank's history. And again, just throw in the more questions I have with this team next year. It's just kind of got to be a foregone conclusion in this town that, Boise State football on a typical year, they'll be 9-3. On a good year, you win 10 plus games. And on a bad year, you go 7-5. And I have a lot of questions that need to be answered with this team next year. I don't have a lot of answers, right? I don't think we can go down the list and say, okay, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. That's going to happen. Okay, all this stuff. Yeah, they're going to win their 10 games. Typical Boise State team. A lot of questions with this team, and QB2 is one of them. And that's a really good point. What happens? Like, I took it as Sam Vidlak is the QB2 right now if the season started today, but it doesn't. They have a whole nother round of fall camp, right? I don't know. Do they flip a coin? Did Sam Vidlak, was it some type of reward? He got that first rep with the twos. Did you talk to anybody on that, BJ?
No, I mean, I do think you can, you can't put too much into the spring game stats, but I think you can put something into how the reps are distributed in the spring game. I mean, they usually, how you did the first 15, 14 practices, whatever it is, usually shows up in terms of how many reps you get in the game. And Sam Vidlak was the first one to come out with the number 2 offense.
Didn't last year Tim Plow tell us Hank started the spring game because he just by a whisker outlasted Jack Sears in spring ball? Remember, Tim Plow told us that. Like, that's why Hank started. He earned that. So I would imagine the same policy goes for QB2.
Yep. Carter Davis saying, I think Vidlak is QB2, which sucks because I really like Green as a player. He just seems to not feel confident throwing it. Derek saying, nice day for Hank versus the toughest defense he will face all year.
Maybe so. Sure.
Carter saying, I understand the veteran optics, but I think the summer and fall ball can just make Hank even better. Perry saying, how many QB throws were rushed because of the worry about sacks?
That's part of football, all part of football, though. Quarterbacks get rushed, and in a game, you're actually going to get hit on some of those.
Yep, no doubt about it. Hey,
This team needs Hank, real quick. I love you, Ridley's. This team needs Hank Bachmeier to have a really good season, not just in leadership and toughness, but also, in my opinion, in statistical data. Quarterbacks with better stats in a lot of cases are able to win games too. Now, I'm not saying like stats are coming before wins. Of course not. But Hank's always had nice wins, but the stats really never seem to come with it. And I think this year you're gonna need to see more of that, BJ.
So who's real quick? Who's your QB2 right now? I mean, if Hank Bachmeier misses a game next season, right now, who do you think's the starter?
I'm a Taylor Green guy. I think Taylor Green will get that job back. I think this program, I think this coaching staff, has more invested in him. Certainly, the fans, they want to see the big kid out there too.
And what he provides with his legs as well, and what he provides with his legs and running the football. And like you said, I think long term they don't want Taylor Green to all of a sudden transfer. I don't know if they want to hitch their wagon to Sam Vidlak for the next 3 years. So,
and there was one play, BJ, where Taylor Green, again, the quarterbacks can't run in this thing, but this is when the offense was going from south to north, and it was on the left side, and Green steps back, and you could see he had a clear lane outside his left tackle. And he probably would have been a 40 or 50-yard gain, but they blew the whistle. And I was like, okay, in a real-life setting, that's a huge splash play that Taylor Green can provide this offense if that offense needs more of those splash plays. So,
well, I think he plays. There's going to be a package for him, right? He's going to play. I mean, we saw him, was it the Fresno State game where he came in there and had a 17-yard run last year in one of his few plays that he got in? I mean, I certainly think that, maybe it's a situation where Vidlak is the quote-unquote number 2, but Green comes in and runs some packages and gets a chance
to Hill roll?
Yeah, maybe so. Remember when they had Cozart out there and him and Rippon, and they'd do some kind of trick plays even where Cozart would line up wide or in the backfield. They'd get them both out there together. Do they develop some package to try to mess with people where they get Green out there and then try to keep him happy because he's involved in the game plan? But if they need an extended quarterback for a long period of time, maybe it is Vidlac at that point. I'm not sure. Ridley's Family Markets, shopridleys.com. They got 13 Idaho locations. The Cuno location I frequent often. They got the at-home shopping, the Skip app, all the great stuff there. So check them out, shopridleys.com, to find the location near you. And they're big supporters of Bronco Nation News and have been of myself for a long time. So we appreciate the fine folks at Ridley's Family Markets. The Blue and Orange store as well. Johnny, I just got the gift cards. I need to say, if you won the basketball tournament, we did a March Madness pool. If you finished first, second, or third, you need to reach out to me, because the way ESPN does it is I can see your username, but I have no way of contacting you. So if you won first, second, or third, we have gift cards for you to the Blue and Orange store. Reach out to me, and we'll get them to you, theblueandorangestore.com. You can get all that Nike gear, all the new Boise State jerseys online, or you can check them out at the Boise Town Square Mall. We appreciate them as well. And Johnny, we got that golf tournament coming up, man. I know you're excited. Play Timberstone. Go out to Timberstone. They got the best greens in the valley. I'll be out there once this weather warms up playing. So if you're looking for a course to try in the valley, Timberstone's a great one, and we appreciate their support. And it's not really – everyone thinks it's a far drive because it's Caldwell. It's really not that bad. It's only about 30 minutes from the Flying Y, and they're hosting our tournament, which we have signups available now for foursomes, for whole sponsorships. We're starting to fill up. So if you want to get in, go ahead and join now. Coach Rice will be out there. Coach Burns, Coach Duryea. Nick Duncan is playing, I've been informed. Brian King, a former player as well. We got Kalen Downs, women's golf coach. Dan Potter, men's golf coach. All kinds of great stuff we're working on. Matt Bauscher, Mike Prater, Jay Tuss, John Mallory. The whole gang's going to be out there. It's going to be a lot of fun. And Johnny, I did just our newest sponsor of the golf tournament right there, Tin Roof Tacos. So if you're a fan of Tin Roof Tacos, they'll be delivering one of the holes. They'll just be set up giving out free tacos to folks. So we got Chef Wally's going to be out there giving out food. I mean, it's going to be a who's who. Good. It's going to be a who's who in the Boise sports media and just the local scene. So if you're wanting to play, BroncoNationNews.com, click on the golf tournament tab, and you can also just go ahead and email me, Rains@BroncoNationNews.com, Rains@BroncoNationNews.com. We got about a minute left here, John. Brock is saying, is this Plow's last season to prove himself at the D1 level? Perhaps heavy load on the QB isn't the answer.
That's another one of my big questions. You know,
Tim Plow.
Like this team, this football program for me, I have a ton of questions with this season. And obviously Tim Plow in this offense is a big question too, BJ. It's great for being in the sports radio world, right? It's great for being in the media.
Oh, we're going to have 25 questions. We're going to have plenty of time all off season for you and I to discuss the questions, and maybe we'll try to line it up so some of your big questions are on the days we're talking about it. Maybe we'll compare our list here. But there's a lot of questions around this team. We mostly focus on the offense today. The defense did have 3 picks in the game. Maybe Jay Tuss and I will focus on the defense more tomorrow and hear from Jay Skinner. But I know you and Prater will be, and JP will be breaking it down, man. 3 to 6 today. On KTIK.com, the KTIK app, 95.3 FM, 1350 AM. So always appreciate you joining us on a Monday, Johnny. Great stuff, and was fun sitting by you in the press box. And we'll be listening 3 o'clock today, man.
Thanks, BJ.
There he is, John Mallory, KTIK Radio. And listen to him and Prater. They'll break it all down 3 to 6 today on KTIK with Prater in the ball game on Idaho Sports Talk. So thanks for everybody for checking us out. Thanks for JP helping get us going in the studio. And we will talk to you later. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com.